I couldn't rest. I couldn't wake up. I was on the couch and I didn't know why. I was so tired. I felt so much fatigue. I was sleeping something like 40 hours a day. I didn't know why. My dad came at the house to eat after work and he told me, "You are here. You are sitting in a chair." And so I just eat. I ate with my father and my parents were so happy. And week after week, I began to work again. I worked for the first time 3 minutes.
Thrivers, Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, we have Juliette all the way from France, and she has had quite the remarkable journey. She found us about 7 months into her illness, but when she found us, she was extremely fatigued, lots of burning sensations, lots of brain fog, anxiety, palpitations, so many other symptoms, and really wasn't able to function and live her life. But now she's working out, she's running, she's socializing, she's able to work again. She's really got her life back and she's come such a long way. I can't wait to share this transformation with you guys. But Juliette, you want to quickly introduce yourself to everybody on here? Name, where you're from, your age?
Hi everyone, my name is Juliette. I come from France and I am 22 years old now, and I joined the program 1 year and a half ago and it changed everything for me.
Yeah, you've come such a long way. So let's rewind the clock here. Let's go back in time. How did these symptoms start? Was there something that triggered it, or over time they just built up?
I've pretty hard stories. I was in medical school, and the first year of medical school, I began to develop some weird symptoms. Like it was a really hard year. I was working something like 12 hours a day. I wasn't resting in the day. And I was so stressed out. I had also food disorder at this time. So my body was just really stressed out and I couldn't rest. I was just focused on having my year and going to medical school. I began to develop some weird symptoms. I remember one day, it was at Christmas, I just wanted to stop working and take 1 day of holidays, and I couldn't wake up. I was on the couch and I didn't know why. I was so tired. I felt so much fatigue, and just I began again to work a lot the next day. I had some weird headaches and it was so hard, but I just kept going. And I had also some weird symptoms at night. And the next year, I was in the second year of medical school and I was diagnosed with cancer. It was a Hodgkin lymphoma. It's the type of cancer I had of lymph nodes. And I just went through chemotherapy during, I think, 6 months. So I had some treatment on my body and I was just recovering from food disorder, but I was still stressed out and traumatized by the past year, my first year of medical school, that I was still in this mindset of working out too at the gym a lot and just being so stressed out. And after 6 months of chemotherapy, 2 months after that, I began to develop CFS symptoms hardly and to crash. It was in October. I had a virus, bacteria or virus, and during 1 week I couldn't really wake up, and I was sleeping something like 40 hours a day. I didn't know why. I recovered and in October 2022. And in November, I recovered. I was still tired because also my body was recovering from chemotherapy. And in December, I crashed again. I think COVID or something else. But yeah, I got a virus and I just never recovered. I just stay sick and I was sleeping all along the day, all along the nights. I couldn't wake up. And after 2 weeks like that, I just couldn't sleep anymore. I had a really bad insomnia. I was sleeping 2 hours at night during 2 months, and it was just terrible. like going through that. I didn't know why, but I was still pushing, like why I cannot work, why I cannot working out. But I was like, I need to have my year. I need to valid my. It was the 3 year of medical school, so I just keep going, and I was just crying every day. I didn't know why I had all these weird symptoms. And yeah, so I just keep pushing until I finally finished and valid my year, and then my body couldn't handle more.
Wow. So this was around, you were about 20 at the time, right? 20 to 21 years old when you were at rock bottom.
Yeah, yeah, that. This is that 20 years old, something like that.
Wow. So you had
Mm.
the cancer diagnosis at, it was like 19, 20 years old around there, and
Yeah,
did the chemo.
2022.
Yeah, and you did the chemo, and then you were having some symptoms prior to that, right?
Yeah, here and there I was feeling fatigue, sometimes some bad headaches, but I was still recovering. It was really light.
And when you crashed that, I think it was December, you said you were sleeping like 2 weeks straight, and then you couldn't sleep after that. It was severe insomnia. So it sounds like that's probably when the symptoms started happening more and more. But
Yeah.
what were the doctors saying about this? Were they saying, oh, this is related to the chemo, this is related to the cancer? Or what was their explanation?
So they didn't know. Honestly, I just got very scared in December when I didn't know what happened, and I just went to the doctor, my doctor that was following me for my cancer, and I told him I feel so bad, but really bad. And he told me, okay, let's do again some scan. So I did again a PET scan, and there were nothing. But I went through a really scary period, because imagining that I have another cancer, that's, yeah, I was going through chemo again, was for me so hard to imagine. So it was really scary for me. But he told me, no, you have nothing. You are healthy. You are just tired from chemotherapy. So let's keep living your life and recover from that. And in March, I went through a crash again, so I was hospitalized. And I remember I was hospitalized for 4 days, and I was doing some scan and some MR. They think maybe you have a brain cancer. So I was really scared, but at the same time, it was maybe even a relief to find something. Like, I didn't know what happened, and the relief of having something was maybe more important for me than just having a brain cancer. But
Mhm.
they told me, no, you have nothing. In my blood, there were nothing. And so I remember this day, my mother was searching on internet. Maybe you have that. Maybe you have that. And I just find on internet, on Google, CFS, and it was really my situation that was described on the website. And I just got super scared. You cannot recover from this illness. And I was like, this is the end. Oh my God. I have the smile when I told that, but I wasn't smiling at all. It was so scary. The big fear I felt of my life, the fear of I will die or I will stay with this amount of fatigue. Like I felt paralyzed in the morning, like my eyes were stuck. It was so scary that I couldn't imagine staying like that for my whole life. And that was the thing that was really weird, that at night I was feeling better than in the day. So I was like, this is so weird. But now I know why. This is just CFS. So yeah, I told the doctor maybe I have chronic syndrome, and they told me, yeah, maybe you have post-viral, but it will go away. Don't worry, it will go away. But it never go away. So I just stay with this diagnosis of long COVID. They diagnosed me for long COVID and nothing more. Just I do other tests to eliminate some autoimmune disease, but I had nothing else than CFS. I wasn't diagnosed with just long COVID, but this is the same at the end.
Yeah. And it's scary, yeah, when you first realize you might have CFS and you Google it, there's not a lot of positive things out there for it initially. It says you
Mhm.
can't recover or recovery percent 5% remission or something like that, especially a couple years ago. So very scary when you first find it out. But when did you find the CFS Recovery channel? Because I imagined you did some research, started trying to find answers on your own. When did you find us?
I found you, I think it was in May. It was May 2023. And the thing at this time, it was that I didn't understand English and I didn't speak English.
At all. Very little to no
No.
English.
And now
You're
I can
speaking great
speak
English right
English.
now. I guess you learn how to speak English.
Yeah, when you have no choice, you do you will do everything to it. And so I just came across a video on someone that was recovering from an illness, a weird thing. It was fibromyalgia. It was Rebecca Tollin, I remember, and it was her voice in French. So I just came across her channel, and then YouTube suggests me some other content on CFS. So I find Rihanna Hagel, and I found you, and I loved your recovery story, and I also came across Junior's story, recovery story, and I just began to watch your content. I began to train myself to understand English because I couldn't take a program because I couldn't speak English. So I was with my symptoms. I was looking at the subtitle to try to understand something. And I was doing that all along the day. Like I was in the morning, I took my phone and look at recovery story until the end of the day. And I was doing some exercise like breathing exercise, meditation, but I was so scared. And I was doing some diet, like I was eating only fruit and vegetables for 3 months. It was medical medium diets, and I was trying everything to heal. And yeah, so I came across your channel. I began to chat with you in the mailbox, and I began to apply some stuff to purchase your free contents. And I did a first interview with Red, but my parents wasn't agreed to go to pay the program at the beginning. And then it was in June that I did this interview. And in August, I had another big crash and I did get this interview, and my grandparents helped my parents to pay the program, and the journey began. The recovery journey began. It was big for me to be around people that was healing at the same time from CFS and recovering.
Yeah. So that's when that new recovery chapter really began. So in August, what was your activity level like when you started with us? Just to give people an idea of how intense your symptoms were, because they see you today, they see you sitting up and glowing and healthy. A lot of people, even when they look at my videos, they're like, did he really have CFS? So maybe just what was your life looking like that August when you first started with us?
In August, when I joined the program, so I was in a crash and I was lying all along the day. I was trying to meditate all along the day with some noise cancelling iPhone, and I had something that blocked lights, an eye mask to block lights because it was really a lot for me. I was speaking very little to my parents. And so I was basically cooking a bit. I was maybe doing some back and forth in the garden, but really nothing else. I was still listening to music, but as I said, after that get worse and worse because I began to really analyze everything I was doing. The thing that I wasn't doing before, I wasn't analyzing all my activity. And so I basically began to be able to do nothing. Like I was lying on my bed all along the day. I was just showering once a day and cooking very little, just warming my food. And no, I wasn't speaking to my parents at all. Something like 1 minute gave me symptoms, a lot of symptoms, some paralysis. Yeah, the big fear for me, the big symptoms I had was the feeling of paralysis in the morning or in the day, and it was so scary to feel stuck in my it was a total blackout in my body. It was so weird.
You were basically bedridden at that point. Like you really
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. Very sensitive as well.
Yeah, my parents they needed for me to speak really slowly and really,
Soft.
yeah, really soft, because I couldn't handle noise. Even with my noise cancelling iPhone, I couldn't handle the voice. Like they have to be really careful with me. And even sometime when they touched me, I remember when it was in December 2023, I had some panic attacks during 3 days, like my fatigue shift from fatigue to anxiety. And I began to have some heart palpitation. It was so intense. And my parents, my sister couldn't touch me because even that amplified my panic attacks, my anxiety attacks. Just when they opened my door, my heart rate was raising, was increasing a lot.
Yeah, it's scary because I've been in that situation too. So you were in a really, really sensitive place. I remember my
Yeah.
dad he tried to comfort me, so he touched my shoulder or my leg, and then I could feel it in my whole body. It's like someone electrocuted me, and it hurt.
Mm.
And just him touching me, like my heart rate would jump. It's like my body just freaked out. It was just out of control. So that was one of the most difficult times I remember because you think, what can I do to feel better? You can't, there's not really much you can do. You just have to take your mind to a different place because even rolling over in bed is so difficult. It hurts, or you can't even
Yeah.
listen to music and things like that. So those first
Yeah.
few months when we were working together, they were pretty tough. But when did things start turning around for you? Like, what was your first biggest shift when things were starting to get better? Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I was working on myself during, I think, 8 months or 9 months in the program, and I was analyzing over and overthinking, and just I was working with Junior and with Krista, and one day Junior told me, I remember he told me in a group call, I will change your plan, and so he changed the method he do for me, and I just began to make progress. I began to speak to my parents. He told me, this evening, I want you to speak to your parents. So I just forced myself to speak. And he told me, I don't care if you are totally bedridden the next day. I don't care if you feel paralyzed. You do it. Because I was so scared. And the fact to pull back for me was just scary. So he forced me to push myself to feel more safe because my problem was fear and over analyzing. So he pushed me. So I did that. I couldn't sleep at night. And the next day, I remember I was at the table. My dad came at the house to eat after work and he told me, you are here. You are sitting in a chair. And so I just eat. I ate with my father and my parents were so happy. And week after week, I began to work again. I worked for the first time 3 minutes and I did it again 3 minutes the next week. And then I introduced looking at the TV a bit, 5 minutes, something like that. And I just increased my activity over and over again.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember because I would have meetings with the coaches, and then Junior, this is when he first rolled out this approach, the fear avoidance approach, when people's nervous system is just in complete fear and it's terrifying to do anything. He was like, let's change something. We're going to try a different approach with Juliette. I'll let you guys know how it goes. We're going to start with this fear avoidant approach. And you were the first one we tried that with, and it really worked. Since then, we've used it with so many other thrivers who were just stuck in that paralyzed state. And I think it's so powerful because when we're in that state, we think that because we flare up from someone touching us, if we do something else, our body's just going to explode or something, or it's going to shut down. But you'll do something that's way bigger than rolling over in bed, and then the symptoms will be about the same. So it's not like it exponentially increases. No matter what you do, you're going to be symptomatic. You just do the thing anyways. And I remember you started to build confidence. He would report back to us and say, guys, it's working. It's really working. She's gaining so much traction because you were stuck for a while, which is why we tried a different approach. Parents must have been ecstatic. And how long was it since you were able to eat at a table like that? Because you were able to sit up that one day and eat with them. Prior to that, was it a few months that you couldn't eat with them or a few weeks?
It was, I think, 9 months. 9 months.
Wow, 9 months you
Nine
couldn't eat at
months.
the table with them.
Yeah, and even speak. I was just speaking like something, yeah, I'm fine, or yeah, I don't want to speak about my symptoms. It's not helpful for me, or just I was just saying things like that. Sometimes I was crying on my bed because it was too hard to stay silent like that and to feel alone or to don't see any progress. But over and over and more I did this work on myself, I saw progress.
Wow, that is wild. So you were bedridden longer than I was. I was bedridden for 8 months. You were in a pretty dark place. So you
Mm.
start gaining traction. You start slowly watching TV, walking a little bit here and there. So what was going through your mind at the time, and what really helped you continue that momentum? I'm sure it was pretty scary at times, but what really helped you?
So I think something that really helped me a lot was I came across conscious manifestation, the fact to visualize myself in my subconscious mind and rewiring the brain and just focusing on I am healed. Right now, I feel I'm healed. And so every day I was visualizing myself healing at night just before going to sleep. And basically, the only thing I was retraining my brain and using manifestation. And this is the thing that I gained traction so fast. I really did nothing against only working on the mind and just being aware of my thought. Where did I put my attention on the day? Why do I think like that? Are my thoughts? And it really helped me a lot. And even right now, the work I did on myself, it's for life, not just for recovery. It's for every area of life. Like you can apply that and you will feel very strong.
Yeah, and it's super helpful, like visualizing things, not only visualizing, but feeling that sense of health or that sense of safety, because
Mm.
it gives our brain a reference point of what safety even feels like or what
Mm.
health even feels like. Because we forget, and it's hard to do that in the beginning, but once you start having glimpses of it and small feelings of safety, you can anchor into those feelings, and then your brain knows what it needs to work towards. Tell us how those adjustment periods when you first started really expanding activity, were they pretty intense? Or did you have some doubts in your mind, or how was it for people listening right now so they know what to expect when they're expanding as well?
So I was increased, and sometimes at the beginning, the first time I increased, I couldn't sleep at night the first night, but after my sleep came back and just I felt really tired, more tired than usual. And then it increased slowly after. It depends how much activity I did, but something like 3, 4 days. Sometimes it was a bit more, sometimes a bit less. But if I was pushing a bit, I remember the second week of this approach, I increased my work and I just decided to, because I was so happy to speak again, I just decided to speak in voice message with someone. And just the next day, I was feeling so paralyzed and I just began to a bit worry. And just I remember myself, no, it just symptoms will go away. And in 5 days, it just began to decrease and I was again in a bit of a baseline. And just, yeah, I was just feeling more paralyzed and more tired and I had more intrusive thoughts. But I think my strength was in the ability on this approach to know that I will recover. There is no way I cannot recover. I know where I want to go, when I want to be. I know that I want to run on the beach. I know that I want to go to the I know that I want that I want that. So it's just impossible that I cannot recover. So I just give everything for this approach and I just say this is that or this is nothing. So I
Hmm.
just gave everything to get my love back.
You had that conviction and that belief that it's
Mm,
inevitable, that it's
yeah.
just a matter of time. Like in my mind as well, the way I saw it is okay, in this timeline of life, there's a time when I'm fully recovered. It's just a matter of time before I get there. It just like you, it's impossible that I don't recover because now that I have traction, if I just keep doing these same things, then I should continue to get better and better. So let me just I know it's going to take time, but let me keep applying these things because at least I found something that's working. So, what was another big leap in progress? Maybe the first time you went out with friends or a first trip you took. Do you remember one of those other big shifts you had?
Yeah, so I remember my first restaurant with two friends, and I just was so excited before that my heart was really racing from excitement. But I was so happy to go at the restaurant, and I ate fried potatoes with beef with a steak, and I was just so happy because I visualized this moment so much, and I remember the feeling of relief, of freedom, of yeah, just being with my friend and just living the moment, and
Mhm.
it was so nice. And another big moment, it was in August. I went at a lake. Yeah, I went at the lake and I began to swim in the lake a bit. I was training myself to swim at the pool before, but just that, doing that, being in this beautiful nature and seeing the real scene that seen that I really imagine in my mind and seeing that in real time was just extraordinary. Being in front of the lake, looking at nature, the blue water was just so nice, and I'm just so grateful to be able to appreciate life now. I know where I came from and I know how life can get hard sometimes. And so if you can really appreciate the moment you are in, even with symptoms, because I still get symptoms at this time, but just I could appreciate that.
Yeah, that's so powerful. It really forces you to be grateful for the smallest of things. I remember, and this is probably something that you went through as well. When you're sick and bedridden for so long, you're wearing the same clothes for all those months. You don't really fix your hair, you don't really change your clothes much. So I remember when they took my clothes out of all the boxes at home and I started wearing different shirts, different pants. I was like, whoa, this is a different world. I feel like a human again. So even just dressing differently, even being able to stand up and take a shower, I remember that was like the best feeling. I was taking 4 or 5 showers a day because for so
Yeah,
long I went months sometimes without showering. So even the simplest things, I was able to appreciate it. It
yeah,
puts things in perspective.
yeah.
For people watching this right now, what are some other golden nuggets you can share with them? Let's just say someone was in your shoes a couple years ago and they're really struggling. They don't even know where to start or what to do. What are some golden nuggets you can give them? Like your top 2 or 3 things. They could be simple as well. It could be the biggest things that helped you. I know for me, it was respond well to symptoms. It was understanding adjustment periods, and they're not crashes, they're adjust periods. And those are the top 2 for me. But what are some golden nuggets that helped you?
The first thing is being aware of your thoughts in the day. What do you think in the day? Where do you put your energy? The second thing was being okay, responding well to my symptoms, being okay with them, seeing them as an opportunity to retrain my brain. And of course, knowing that adjustment periods is on the way of recovery and you cannot get better without symptoms. Like in my experience, I always experience symptoms after an increase of activity or almost always. Sometimes not, but it's rare to have symptoms after a new activity or an increase of activity. And another thing is responding well to life, to every situation in your life that happens. So cultivating resiliency in your life and just feeling in the present moment that I was healed helped me. Because when I had symptoms after an increase of activity, my brain was alarming my body with symptoms. But in my mind, when I began to have this big, really strong mindset, told myself, I am healed. No matter what, I'm healed right now. And just I know in the present moment, so with manifestation, I know in the present moment that I was feeling the future before it happened. And this thing helped me so much with retraining my brain to my symptoms because at the end, conscious manifestation or retraining the brain for the symptoms is the same. This is the same because everything is in the subconscious mind. And when you retrain your subconscious mind, you will attract the thing you want, and you will attract recovery. When I was visualizing myself healing and really feeling the emotion in the present moment, and when I was really excited during my meditation, the next day my symptoms were really slow. And I, Junior, oh, that's so crazy. I did my meditation and my symptoms are better today. So, yeah, just responding well to symptoms and visualizing yourself or feeling in the moment, being okay with your life.
And being okay with those adjustment periods, those flare ups, they're definitely on the way, not in the way. You don't have to avoid them at all costs. And
No.
yeah, that visualization is so important. That's why one of the early assignments we have you guys do, and it sounds like you were already doing it before you found us, but what is that North Star? What is that vision for the future? And we have you guys really clearly write down what does that look like? What are you doing? What does it feel like? And for other people, it helps so much because the cool thing is several months down the road, they end up doing it, whether it's traveling or hiking up a mountain and watching the sunset. Like it always happens. We always see it come true. And it's so surreal because I remember imagining myself in a tropical place. I didn't know it would be Hawaii specifically, but I remember myself standing on a beach, standing on top of a mountain, watching the sunrise, and then it happened like a year later. And I remember, honestly, I was just speechless. I didn't even know what to say because it was this kind of it felt familiar. It felt like I already been there 1,000 times. Even though
Yeah.
physically it was my first time there, mentally I was already there thousands of times. Like I guess realities cross paths there. I brought the vision into reality with recovery. It's so cool how much can change in a fairly short period of time because 2 years ago, for example, or only 2 years ago, your life was completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely different. Now it's like the opportunities are limitless.
Yeah, I
So
like that.
so tell us more about what are the kind of things you're doing right now. We talked before we started recording, like you're working out, you're working, you're running. So tell us about all the things you're doing right now. Now that you're here again.
So right now I go to the gym several times a week, like 4 times a week. I do some arms training, back training, some legs training, and in the same session I can run 10 minutes and I'm still working on increasing the running.
You're doing weight training, right? You're actually lifting weights
Yeah,
and everything. I saw the pictures you
and
posted. You're doing the curls. I saw getting stronger.
and I built so much muscle and my body changed so much since I was ridden because before, of course, my muscle regressed a lot and I took weight. I gained weight and now I just lose weight, gain muscles, and I can work too on the day. So I realized a dream for me with my brother that I don't know why. When I meet you and know what you was doing on the program, everything like that, it gave me a feeling of I want to do something like that. I want to be business owner or something like that. So I just began to do some coaching on manifestation. I'm not working with people with CFS because it's in French. In France, it can be a bit complicated to do that. So I just going on manifestation and teaching how to do it in order to attract thing in your life and to change your mindset because everything is in your subconscious mind and everything is in your mind. When you are in a place where you can be aware of your thoughts, you can change a lot of things in your life and you can change your health too. Like it's what I experienced. So I coach people on that and I do that with my brother. So it's the work I'm doing right now, just living life, being balanced, and it's just magic.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like you're only 22 right now, but you have so much life experience of things you overcame the cancer, overcame CFS, which that sounds like it was way harder than the chemo stuff you went through because the CFS put you in the bed for 9 months, but you overcame that only at 22 years old. And there's so much more life left to live and other things to do. You could write a book on this stuff. I think you should
Yeah.
write a book. It would be so inspiring.
I thought that I need to use my
Yeah.
experience, the thing I did, in a way to help people to put that in a work like it's the coaching stuff where I can teach the thing I learned because when you respond well to symptoms, you also learn to respond well to life. And it's really powerful because you taught me that in the program to respond well to life, and it really helped me for everything. And I just live life. I just feel so much mature for my age, like only 22, and I know a lot of things. I have learned about the body and the mind now, and it's a passion for me to learn about that. And it's quite weird because when I was in your program, I was experiencing on me something. I was passionate about your program, how you put everything in place, how the mind works, or you retrain your brain, how manifestation works. And I was experiencing results on myself. So it was both sometimes scary, but really great.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool part too, because you were studying the medical field, the medical degree, and it sounds like you're someone who's very into personal development as well. So this is like the ultimate crash course on how your body functions, like
Mm,
understanding yourself more. It's like the ultimate personal development course, I think. That's what I call
yeah.
CFS, because the only way to recover is to personally develop and upgrade your mindset, like the way you think, the way you act, the different patterns. So it's like getting a PhD in personal development, I think, like
Yeah.
recovering from CFS.
Yeah.
So it's wild. So your family must be super excited about all of this progress you've made. I've seen some of your video journals because we send those out quite often, and it just looks like you guys are all happy together now that you're healthy again. They probably must be ecstatic to see you doing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, striving and living life. And even sometimes they do forget that I was there some months ago, 10 months ago, I was in a different place. And sometimes they forget that and they just keep, sometimes I feel this period of my life is not there anymore for them. But me, I know how much this period changed me. And really for the people that are watching this video, I think you have to be uncomfortable enough to do the work in order to heal. If you are really in your mind, in your symptoms, you are still striving, you will not maybe do the work enough to heal. But when you are in the scary place of life, in the scary place of your life, you will do the work because you have no choice. And if you are in a place where you are still able to live life, just do the work right now. Don't wait to be bedridden.
It's so true. So true. Because if I had met my doctor who helped me out of this, if I had met him maybe a year or two early, I was still able to function. I was still able to work a little bit. So I wouldn't have held on to every word he says or he said. Versus when I met him, I was in the hospital bed, IVs, could barely breathe. So literally every single word he was saying, I was absorbing it. And I was like, do whatever it takes. Whatever you tell me, I'll believe it 100%. Just give me something. So my mind was open to the change because I was at the rock bottom. But I think sometimes people are still able to live their life a little bit. It's harder for them to fully commit and go all in, just fix this problem once and for all because the pain isn't there
Mm,
as much. But when the pain
mhm.
reaches a certain point, it triggers change. People will do anything to change. Like you learned English for
Yeah.
this. So you really didn't know how to speak English before finding us.
Yeah,
It's
so
just
I had some lessons since I was a child on English, but I was really good at school in every other area. But in English, I wasn't good at all, and my notes at school wasn't great. But when I had no choice, I had to learn English. I was even good in Spanish before, but not in English. And it forced me to speak English, to learn English, to understand English, and it feels almost effortless to do that. And in 3 months, I was engaging myself in your program in CFS Recovery and in Jumpstart. And I was speaking English, trying with my Google Translate, and I was trying to understand the coaches as much as I could. And now I can speak English really easily.
wow. You hear that, Thrivers watching this right now? So there's a lot of Europeans watching this or people who have English as a second language, and they
Mm,
can actually speak pretty good English, but still they feel I won't be able to keep up with the content. Hey, Juliette did it. She was in a
mhm,
pretty bad place. It is absolutely possible to implement these things. You don't need to understand everything 100% right off the bat, but you'll get the gist of it. You'll get the idea, and you just start implementing little by little. Next thing you know, you're getting your life back.
mm,
So
mm.
for you, Juliette, is there anything big planned out for this year? Anything on your bucket list that you're doing? Like, where do you want to go from here in terms of hobbies or life? Any big goals you have coming up?
My big goals is to develop my coach's business. So I'm developing it right now and I want to grow it. And also I want to run more and more to be able to run something like 45 minutes. I don't know, but yeah, it will be really exciting. And
Oh, if you ran
actually,
like a half marathon or something, that would be wild. Maybe down the
yeah,
road, but that would be wild.
yeah, yeah. If I can do that in some months, it will be really,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe like next year or something. You gotta train up to it. I want to do a
yeah.
full marathon this year. Hopefully. I gotta start training. It's the end of the year though.
Yeah, and this summer I want to go to your retreat. I would like to go to a retreat, and it will be another goal for me, not because of my capacity, but just a goal in order to meet you and to meet the coaches and the other driver because I'm just so grateful for the experience to meet you, to meet Junior, to meet Krista and Adrian and the other coaches and just going through this hard illness taught me life. Just that. It taught me that I don't have to be perfect to recover, to that I don't have to be perfect in work, in life in general, and then that I'm a human with a lot of value and I'm worthy of my life and I'm worthy of not pushing myself as much as I did before and that I can be balanced and healthy for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that Thriver meetup is gonna be awesome. And that's not too far from you, right? It's just a plane ride
Yeah.
over, a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
hours or something.
Yeah, it's something like this is Mallorca.
Yorka.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will be in plane. It's not quite too far.
Yeah, I think it's for us it's far, but I think there's
Yeah.
so many people in Europe it was worth the flight over. But that's going to be really exciting. That's in about at the time of this recording, that's in about 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. It's going to be in September. Actually, to this day, September 25th. So I can't wait to meet all you thrivers there. It's going to be so cool, and it's going to come full circle. If you're there, we're all celebrating, and we'll go do some really cool stuff over there.
What is the date?
It's going to be on September 25th, but we'll be there for a few days before and after that. So we'll probably do some other stuff as well. But definitely on the 25th is when we're going to be in Mallorca, meeting up with everybody, have a big picnic, go
Okay.
to the beach, go eat some food. It's going to be
This
awesome.
is my North Star. Like
Yeah,
going to the beach with people like that will be so awesome.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. But anything else you'd like to share with the people watching this right now? You shared a lot of the nuggets and lots of inspiration. Your story is very inspiring. You beat cancer, beat CFS, and only 22 years old. Sky is the limit. And now you're going to be impacting more people with your story, but also with the work you're doing, the manifestation
Mm.
stuff. I think that's very important and can
Mm.
help a lot of people. But anything else you want to share with people watching this right now?
You are not alone in this journey. There's a lot of people going through that and you have help. Like you can be helped by coaches and you have some program on internet where you can be supported by people and you can have a community and you don't have to be in this hard journey because now I'm grateful but before I wasn't and you can be supported. Yeah, the end thing that I want to share.
Yeah. So your story is very powerful, Juliette. My last question for you, I always like to ask people this, but overall, would you say it was a good investment joining the program? It was worth it?
Yeah, yeah, it's worth it. Everything for my life is worth it. So it definitely is.
Yeah. So glad you were able to find us when you did. I think it was a perfect timing for our paths to cross because you jumped
Mm.
right into
Mhm.
it and you didn't give up. 9 months bedridden is very difficult, but you kept going. And now I always say this in the program, when you guys recover, it's going to feel like a bad dream. It's going to feel like it never happened sometimes. And maybe you
Mm.
have some of those moments where you forget that, wow, I actually went through all of that. And then that's what I experienced. And then I saw pictures. I was like, yeah, I was actually really sick. I guess that did happen, but it's so hard to believe because you go from really sick to normal. It's a different life. It's a different reality. It's crazy. So
Mm.
very inspiring story, but thank you so much for sharing this story with us. And we'll do another one down the road as well when you're even further along, several months from now. But for you thrivers watching this right now, I hope this story inspires you. Juliet's come a long way, jumped through a lot of hoops to get to where she is now, including learning English in order to make this all work. And now she's out there living life. She's thriving and getting the most out of life. So if you did want some extra help, if you were struggling or feeling lost or needed some more guidance, then just click the link down below. You can learn more about our different recovery systems. We would love to be able to help you get back to thriving health, or just keep watching these videos for inspiration. But Juliette, thank you so much. And for you thrivers out there, always remember that you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. So we'll see you guys all in the next video. Juliette, thank you so much.
Would say that CFS recovery is absolutely the real deal.
I actually felt like somebody had an answer, like somebody explained what was going on, and it all clicked.